Ready? صلى الله عليه وسلم يوم ذات الرقاع صلاة الخوف أن طائفة صفت معه وطائفة وجاه العدو فصلى بالتي معه ركعة ثم ثبت قائما وأتموا لأنفسهم ثم انصرفوا فصفوا وجاه العدو وجاءت الطائفة الأخرى فصلى بهم الركعة التي بقيت من صلاته ثم ثبت جالسا وأتموا لأنفسهم ثم سلم به متفق عليه. وأخرج البخاري بطريق آخر عن القاسم عن صالح بن خوات عن سهل بن أبي حثمة عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. Then Wazir ibn Ruman from Salih ibn Khawat, from the one who recited Salah with Nabi Karim Sallallahu on the day of Zatul Riqa, Salatul Khawf. That one group by the Safwati, one group was in the face of the enemy, in front of the enemy. Then he recited Salah with the one was with him, with the group which was with him, one rakat. Then he remained standing, and they completed their Salah. وَأَتَمُّوا لِأَنفُسِهِمْ. That first group. Then they turned away. Then then the other group, then they made a saf. Then they went and made saf in front of the enemy. And the other group came and he recited with him the rakat which remained from his Salah. Then he remained sitting. And they completed for themselves. Then he made salam with them all, with the second group, right? Muttafaqun alayhi. And Bukhari also narrated from another tariq from Qasim, from Salih ibn Khawat, from Sahl ibn Abi Hasmata, from Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right? This battle of Zatul Riqa, right? The person who was there with Nabi Kareem reciting Salawatim was Sahl ibn Hasama, the Amman Sallah. You understand? Amman Sal, the one who was reciting Salawat Nabi, who was that person? From the other tariq we learn that it is Sahl ibn Hasmata. Zatul Riqa is the name of a battle, and it took place in the 5th Hijri, right? And it was, Nabi came in front of the enemy and it was sorted out without any battle. And it was at this time that they read Salatul Khawf. This battle was called Zatul Riqa because the believers, they didn't have shoes. So they were moving on their feet. And because of that, they were getting cuts on their feet and their nails were breaking. So what they did is they started tying like rags on their feet. So that's how it became known as Zatul Riqa. Imam Shafi and Imam Malik rahmatullah alayhi, they prefer this method here. You understand? Where the one group joins, Imam waits. The group finish, second group come, joins, Imam waits, and then they finish with the finishes the second group. Right. One Jabir radiallahu anhu qala aqbalna ma'a Rasulillah hatta idha kunna bi dhati ar-riqa'i qala kunna idha atayna ala shajaratin dhalilatin taraknaha li Rasulillah qala waja rajulun وجاء رجل من المشركين وسيف رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم معلق بشجرة فأخذ سيف نبي الله صلى الله عليه وسلم فاخترته فقال لرسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أتخافني؟ قال لا. قال فمن يمنعك مني؟ قال الله يمنعني منك. قال فتهدده أصحاب رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم فغمد السيف وعلقه. قال فنودي بالصلاة فصلى بطائفة ركعتين ثم تأخروا فصلى بطائفة الأخرى ركعتين. قال فكانت لرسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم 4 ركعات وللقوم ركعتان متفق عليه. Then Jabir radiallahu anhu said, we came with Nabi Akram when we were in Zatul Riqa, and when we would come across a shady tree, we would leave it for Rasulullah. So a man came from the mushrikeen, and the sword of Rasulullah was hanging on the tree. So he took the sword of Rasulullah and he unsheathed it. Then he said to Nabi Karim, do you not fear me? He says, no. So he said, who will save you from me? So he said, Allah will save me from you. So then the companions of Nabi Karim threatened him. Then he resheathed the sword, right? He put it back in its name, in his sheath, and then he hung it up. Then Azan was given for Salah, Iqamah was given for Salah. Then he recited with one group 2 rakats. Then they went back and he recited with the other group 2 rakats. And he said, so there was 4 rakats for Rasulullah and 2 rakats for the people. From this hadith, what we learn now is firstly is that Nabi Karim was extremely brave, right? And the second point we learn here is that the Nabi Karim had sabr on the harm of the mushrikeen, and especially when the kafir was jahil, then he had lots of sabr and lots of tolerance. Waqidi rahmatullah, he mentions that when that mushrik had this wrong intention, then there was an extreme pain in his stomach, and that caused his sword to drop off his hand. And he also said that this person now afterwards became Muslim, and because of him lots of people got hidayat. However, Abu Uwana radiallahu anhu, he mentions that this man didn't become Muslim, but he took a promise that he will not fight against the Muslims. So there's ikhtilaf there whether he became Muslim or he didn't become Muslim. Right. So this was the same battle now. So either you're going to say that Hazrat Sahal's riwayat was on Fajr Salah, and Hazrat Jabir radiallahu anhu was either on Zohar or Asr. And they were all not musafirs. You understand it? Right. Or the other way, they say that this particular incident happened before the laws of Qasr came down, right? Or the place where they were, Qasr was not wajib. Right. And the ulama also say what it means: 4 rakats for Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and 2 rakats for the companions was 4 rakats for Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, right, in Jamaat, and the companions say 2, and afterwards they to make their own 2. You understand it? That's how it will be. وَأَنُّ قَالَ صَلَّى بِنَا رَسُولُ اللَّهِ سَمْسَاتَ الْخَوْفِ فَصَفَفْنَا خَلْفَهُ صَفَّيْنِ وَالْعَدُوَّ بَيْنَنَا وَبَيْنَ الْقِبْلَةِ فكبر النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وكبرنا جميعا ثم ركع وركعنا جميعا ثم رفع رأسه من الركوع ورفعنا جميعا ثم انحدر بالسجود والصف الذي يليه وقام الصف المؤخر في نحر العدو فلما قضى النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم السجود وقام الصف الذي يليه انحدر الصف المؤخر بالسجود ثم قاموا ثم تقدم الصف المؤخر وتأخر المقدم ثم ركع النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وركعنا جميعا ثم رفع رأسه من الركوع ورفعنا جميعا ثم انحدر بالسجود والصف الذي يليه الذي كان مؤخرا في الركعة الأولى وقام الصف المؤخر في نحر العدو فلما قضى النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم السجود والصف الذي يليه انحدر الصف المؤخر بالسجود فسجدوا ثم سلم النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وسلمنا جميعا رواه Muslim. Also narrated from him. From who? From Jabir radiallahu anhu, right? He said that Nabi Karim recited Salah with us, Salatul Khawf. So we made a saf behind him, 2 safs. And the enemy was between us and between the Qibla, in other words, in front of us. So Nabi Karim said the takbir and we all said the takbir. Then he made ruku and we all made ruku together. Then he raised his head from ruku and we raised our heads together. Then he went down into sajda, and the saf also, which was behind him, immediately behind him, also went down into sajda. And the saf, which was at the back, the second saf, stood facing the enemy or opposite to the enemy. So when Nabi Akram finished sajda, and the saf which was immediately behind him stood up, came up, right? Stood up, right? Then the saf which was behind went down into sajda. Then they all stood up. Then the saf which was at the back went front, and the saf in the front went back. Then Nabi Akram made ruku, and we made ruku all together. Then he raised it from ruku, and we raised our head together. Then he went down into sajda, and the saf which was next to him, which was the saf behind saf in the first rakat, right? And and now the saf which is now behind stood in opposite to the enemy. Then when Nabi Akram finished the sajda and the saf which was immediately behind him, then the saf which was behind went down into sajda. Then they made sajda. Then Nabi Akram made salam, and we made salam all together. You got the tartib there. You understood that tartib? Yeah. So the one group, the first line would go and make the sajda together, and then after that, the second group will make the sajda. And then, but then when they came into the second rakat, then that group went front and that group came forward to give them all equal chance. You understand it? And then they finished off like that. Right. Let's see. So here, because the enemy was in front, right? So therefore, everybody could have joined the salah because they just had to watch the front. The enemy was not from different sides that they need to send and dispatch soldiers to the different sides. Ulama say that this salat was read at Usfan, right, at a place called Usfan, right. Al-Fasl Thani, and Jabir Rajulan Nabi Samkan Yusalli bin Nas Salat al-Zuhri fil Khawfi bi Batni Nakhlin wa Salla bi Ta'ifatin Rakatani thumma Sallama thumma Ja'a Ta'ifatun Ukhra فصلى بهم ركعتين ثم سلم رواه في شرح السنة. Jabir Rajulan said Nabi Akram used to recite salah with the people, Salatul Zuhr in fear at Batni Nakhl. Then he recited the one group 2 rakats and he made salam. Then the other group came and he recited them 2 rakats and he made salam. Batni Nakhl is a place between Makkah and Medina, right? Imam Shafi Rahmallah, he takes proof from this here and shows that that Nabi Akram made qasr, so he made 2 rakats, right? Instead of 4 rakats. And then after that, he made 2 rakats nafil, and he led the others. So from here, he proved that a muftarid can follow a mutanafil. One who's making nafil can lead the one who's making faraz. The Ahnaf say no. Ahnaf have a bit of the difficulty to explain this particular hadith. Because they say if you're going to carry it upon safar, then you're going to have to say that the person making nafil was reading them. And that's not permissible according to Ahnaf. So Ahnaf say no, this was not a safar. Rather, they were making full salah. Right? So they're making salah full, yeah, but the problem is the salam that comes in between. You see? So and that's a problem now, right? So you have to say firstly that this salah was where they were making hadar, so they made it full. And then we say here that making the salam after 2 rakats was a speciality of Nabi Akram. So it's not permissible for anyone else. And therefore, and the people then made their 2 rakats after that. You understand it? And then they also made 4 rakats, because now we're saying it's hadar. So each one's supposed to make 4 rakats, right? So they made salah, Nabi Akram making salam at the end of 2 rakats, that's his speciality, not permissible for anyone else. Nevertheless, so he made 4 rakats like that with 2 salams, which was his speciality. And then the people, obviously, they made their 2 rakats after that, right? And then Imam Tahawi, rahmatullah, what he says here, he says this was at a time when you were allowed to make one farz salah twice. You're allowed to make A farad salah twice. Okay, leave it till the